all of you are aware that Woodmore are the online expert when it comes to spare parts. And the best point is that they have the spare parts for all vehicles available in India. So even if your car is out of production now, maybe you have a large generation model, even then they have the spare part available. They have the entire catalog. And the best point is that they have the same spare part from a host of different component makers, which gives you great flexibility in the pricing overall. So check them out today. Check out the app. It's available both for iOS as well as Android devices. And also check out the website for the latest schemes as well as offers. Woodmore.com, the expert of online spare parts. Hi guys, as you can see, we're witnessing a beautiful sunset. In fact, the sun has just set behind us. And today we're outside Udaipur. We're here to film a very important car. And this, of course, is the new Maruti Celerio. Some of you might say, well, the earlier design of the car was better. You prefer the older looks of the car. But I think when you go to a showroom, you visit a Maruti Arena dealership, you realize that this car actually looks good in person. What you'll also like is the fact that the car is nice and big on the outside. The proportions are nice and generous, which makes it a roomy car on the inside. It's got a little bit of boxiness towards the end, but it does look nice and proportionate. You get request sensors over here to lock it and unlock the car at the moment the keys are inside. And of course, when you move to the back, you'll see before going there that the alloy wheel design also has been blackened out. It's a grayed out effect, which looks rather sporty and rather cool on 15-inch wheels. Now, the boot of the car is always an important factor when you're considering to buy it. And this one has a boot capacity of a little over 300 liters. If my camera can show you the boot, it's got a little over 300 liters, which is quite nice. A little bit of a loading sill, but that's quite okay because all cars in this segment at this price point have it. But it's a roomy and spacious car, which I'll show you now by moving on to the interior. Well, so here I'm in the front seat now of the Maruti Celerio. Now, first of all, the good thing about this car is the seat comfort. The seats really are very good in terms of the comfort. You get very good support, and Maruti always makes good seats, and these ones are no different. The only thing is that the headrest here is fixed. So some of you might say, well, that's something that should have been improved, and I agree with you. But Maruti has to save money and deliver value for money cars to you, so they have cut costs over here, which is I think a smart thing to do. They've also given you power window buttons here, which is also something which helps in cutting costs. And the switches have been shared and borrowed with the Wagoner and other cars in the Maruti fleet, so that's all something which is a cost-effective way of manufacturing cars. AC vents are very similar to the ones on the Wagoner. This touchscreen is shared amongst the entire Maruti family. And if you look at this touchscreen, if you take a closer look at the touchscreen, then you will realize that it has Apple's CarPlay and Android Auto. At the moment, we're using Android Auto. And that's something which a lot of customers use. 80% of buyers, I think, use Android Auto, but I prefer Apple's CarPlay. Unfortunately, I don't have wire to hook it up with my iPhone. Other than that, you get digital display, half digital, half analog. Now, one thing which is missing on this car is a reverse parking camera. I think that should have definitely been added. If you put it into reverse, you see that it only shows you this. Now, this is not a 360 view. It doesn't show you anything, but it's just that I think Maruti should have added a reverse parking camera onto this car. But what you do get, of course, is idle start stop, engine start stop button, and of course, electrically adjustable mirrors. So that's something which is nice. But yes, I think buyers would have appreciated reverse parking camera as well. Well, so I'm in the back seat now of this Celerio, and the good thing is that, as you can see, knee room is more than sufficient. Headroom also is more than adequate. It's a boxy shape on the outside. It's a very squared out shape. So that's something which it helps in. The doors also open at a nice 90 degree, almost 90 degree door opening, which means that getting in and out is a breezy affair. If you're buying your car to be sitting in the back seat, you want to be chauffeur driven, you just want to enjoy the back seat experience, a good car for that, because there's plenty of place. The seat comfort also is good. But the only bit of negative, in fact, two negatives, is the fact that the power window buttons are here. So sometimes if you have a kid who's, playing around and he just decides to sit like this, or maybe, you put a bag over here and you want to, have too much luggage, then the windows might go down or up automatically. And the rear headrests are also fixed. That's something that I think should have been adjustable in this segment, because even the Wagoner comes with adjustable headrest. If I'm wrong, you can let me know in the comment section below. But other than that, comfortable place, good backrest angle, comfortable seats, and it's got good amount of space in the back seat. What do you think of this car? Do let me know in the comment section below. Now I'm jumping in the front seat and driving it around. Well, so before beginning this video, the driving part of the video, let me just give you a small message, and that message is that you should always wear your seatbelt when you're sitting inside a car, no matter how far you're going or how close you're going to your destination. Maybe you're just going 2 blocks away or 2 colonies away to the local grocer, but always belt up, because this is the first line of safety, the first safety device in the car, and it's also the most important safety device, because airbags will only be as effective as they should be when you are belted up, because in case, God forbid, you are in an incident, then the safety is in your hands because of the seat belt. So always wear your seat belt, and always make sure that other passengers in the car are also belted up. People sitting next to you and people who are back in the back seat also should be belted up. Anyways, now let's talk about the new Celerio, which comes with a new 1-liter turbocharged petrol engine. Well, no, it doesn't come with a turbocharged engine, it does come with a dual jet engine, but I was just trying to check if you're paying attention or not to this video. Now, power has gone up a bit, the torque figure has gone up slightly, but the best point is that the overall fuel efficiency has gone up quite considerably. 26 plus is what Maruti Suzuki engineers are claiming for this car, and knowing them, I think that this car will hit those figures, or it will come very close to those figures, because Maruti does make very fuel efficient cars. Now, what is good about this car and what is so likable about this car? Well, first things first, what you'll really like is the fact that this engine is very punchy. It's a punchy motor, it's a refined motor, and it's a very responsive motor. And even though it's only a 3-cylinder engine, it's not a 4-cylinder unit, even then it doesn't feel very noisy or obtrusive in terms of the noise, and doesn't become loud, because normally 3-cylinder engines aren't as vibration free as 4-cylinder units. But this one can challenge some of its rivals when it comes to sheer refinement levels. Yes, the refinement levels are that good. And well, Maruti's K-series engines really are the benchmark when it comes to sheer refinement. It doesn't matter which engine or which car you're driving. You might be driving a 1-liter engine, 1.2 or 1.5. All of them are inherently refined and also very responsive. So that is something which a lot of buyers will truly appreciate. Now, if you're planning to buy your first ever car, if you're planning to buy a car just to drive in the city, and you want a very hassle-free, easy-going car, then this is a nice product for you. Why is it nice? Because first of all, as I said, the engine is nice and responsive. It's fuel efficient, which is a great thing. But the steering wheel also is nice and light. It is in fact overtly light. You can use your little finger and move the car around. You shouldn't do that, but I'm just giving an example that you can do it. So that's something that a lot of buyers who are buying their cars for the first time drivers will appreciate. And a lot of other YouTubers or a lot of other reviewers might say, well, it should have been a little more feelsome, it should have had a little more feel, a little more feedback. It is accurate, don't get me wrong. It is light, but it's accurate. But the car buyers who buy these cars don't buy them to take them out on a racetrack or to take them out on an F1 racing circuit. They buy them just for the pure hassle-free nature. And car buyers buy these cars to offer you less hassle and easygoing nature. And I have a lot of people in my family who have the Wagoner and the Alto, and they're very happy and very satisfied with the steering wheel response. They never complain, unlike other journalists. So well, don't get me wrong, but this car is meant for the city and meant for car buyers who are driving in the city. And in that sense, Maruti engineers have tuned the steering wheel pretty well for them, and they will like them. What they'll also like is the fact that the gearbox on this car is nice and light. It's a nice and crisp gearbox. It's a typical Maruti Suzuki gearbox. The clutch action is nice and light. It's a crisp and accurate gearbox, and sometimes you'll just be changing gears for the heck of it, because you'll be enjoying the gear shift pattern so much. So it's a nice and usable gearbox. We did drive the automatic version also briefly last evening, and I have to say that Maruti has improved on the AMT technology quite a lot. The earlier version, or the first version of the car, which was launched in 2014, suffered a lot of those jhatkas, those lurches, which were very prominent, because of course it was the first AMT, the automated manual transmission technology, the first car to offer it in India. And over the years, Maruti has improved the AMT tech, and even on this car, the technology has been improved. Yes, there is a little bit of lurchiness, but it's not very prominent now. It seems to have been covered up nicely. And when you use it in the manual mode, when you shift it on the left side and use it in manual mode, even then there's a little bit of lurchiness. It does take a second to shift down or up, but it's much better, much improved from the first generation Celerio, and definitely a big improvement over the S-Cross, which uses the same, and definitely a big improvement over the Espresso, which uses the same AMT tech and the same 1-liter engine as well. So big improvement on that front in terms of the AMT technology. And I think with the AMT tech, the light controls, the good visibility, it's an excellent product for people who drive in the city. And of course, the bonus is the overall fuel efficiency as well. Now, how does this car compare in terms of the overall ride comfort compared to its other siblings in the Maruti family? Well, if you are considering the Alto or even the Espresso, I would suggest you spend a little more money and buy this car because the stability and the ride comfort of this car is better. Also, if you consider the WagonR, I would suggest that instead of the WagonR, you pick this one up if you want the 1 litre engine, because with the 1 litre engine and its overall ride comfort definitely is better than the WagonR's ride comfort, and stability also on the highway seems to be better. The WagonR in crosswinds just seems to get a little swayed and doesn't feel as stable because it's a tall boy design. This one feels more stable and definitely more reassuring on the highway compared to the WagonR. So I would suggest that if you're planning to buy a car for sometimes going out on the highway once in a while, then definitely this is the better product in the range. Welcome in the market for your first ever car. You want a city car in which you can travel with your entire family. You want a car which offers you good fuel efficiency and also a car which offers you very light controls. Then the Celerio is a car you should definitely keep in your shortlist. It's got a nice and funky interior. It's got comfortable seats and a very comfortable ride as well. And being a Maruti means that after-sales servicing will be relatively cheap and affordable. And also, this car will offer you good warranty packages and resale values should be strong. So what I'm trying to say is that keep this car on the top of your shortlist if you want to buy a city car which offers you good fuel efficiency and good space as well. So bye for now and thanks so much.